Hi, and welcome back to Football Made Simple.
Napoli have been perhaps the best team in Europe's top 5 leagues this season, and they sit comfortably on top of Serie A and are into the latter stages of the Champions League. Kvaratskhelia and Victor Osimhen have grabbed all the headlines, but Luciano Spalletti's men are so much more than that. So let's dig into Napoli's tactics and why they're one of the most impressive teams in Europe this year. Spalletti has a most preferred 11 that looks like this and lines up in a 4-3-3 or 4-1-4-1. But the substitutes should not be underestimated, with the likes of Raspadori, Ndombele, Elma and Simeone all waiting in the wings, but more on them later. Napoli are a possession-heavy side, looking to build up short whenever they can. But this can already be the first trap that they look to set for the opposition, as if teams were to recklessly press them, the ball over the top to Osimhen, who can function as a target man and release some of that pressure, would be on, and this would then allow them to begin the play having taken out the majority of the opposition out of the game. Or even more dangerous for opposition, Osimhen has more than enough pace to spin in behind and receive the ball over the top to either be bearing down on goal or running the channels. So even this early in the play, Spalletti poses a question to the opposition. Pick your poison. Press high and we may play over you, or sit deep and we're more than happy to outplay you on the ground. And in open play they have quite a few options, though for the most part, Lobotka is the deepest pivot with all the responsibility to begin the play. If the opposition is aggressive in looking to cut him out, Ongisa tends to be the man who can drop deeper to be the second pivot and the outlet, as Zielinski is the most offensive of the three, but in emergency situations, Zielinski is more than happy to drop deep as well. But Napoli can still use the opposition's press to open them up. Spalletti's fullbacks have variability, as both can begin deep to begin the play as the easy outlet options, or push high up to provide the width. But in general, Mario Rui can be the deeper of the two, forming a pseudo back three with the centre backs and drawing in the opposition winger. Kvaratskhelia can stay high, threatening in behind, but he also loves to receive the ball deep to pick up the ball and draw the fullback higher up the pitch. And here, the dynamism of Napoli's midfield comes into play, as the midfield man can then make a run into the vacated space to get onto the ball in the wider regions, or if a centre-back were to come across to cover, then Osimhen would be 1v1 with the remaining centre-back, where he can either use his pace or power to cause them problems. But their comfort in possession starts right from the back, with both centre-backs having a starring role. Kim Min-jae does stand out though, both with his ability to withstand pressure and break the lines when it's required. But if all the midfield options are occupied, he can be aggressive in moving the ball right up the pitch, forcing the opposition to confront him and opening up new opportunities higher up the pitch. And these opportunities bring us to the midfield three, who are almost ever present. Tanguy Ndombele has actually appeared in over 25 league matches, but almost all of them have been off of the bench, but he has still performed well. The midfield three, as discussed, can be a dedicated 2-1, with Zielinski the more attacking midfielder, but Spalletti does prefer them to be a 1-2, as this helps to make the most of Ongisa's box-to-box ability. Lobotka, as the deepest man, is the hub and is extremely reliable in possession, being press resistant enough to receive the ball in tight regions, and although he does have the ability to spread it longer, he tends to play short to allow Napoli to maintain possession. His partners are the more adventurous of the midfield, and Ongisa's unique skill set of running ability with the ball and excellent dribbling technique means he can pick up the ball in deeper regions and drive the team up the pitch, getting past men who confront him with ease, as his 1.2 successful take-ons per 90 are more than 85% of midfielders. At the same time, he has more than enough technical ability to be patient and trust men deeper to find him between the lines, because he too can receive in these tight spaces and look to create for others. But of the three, Zielinski takes on the majority of the creative burden and is the highest positioned, receiving the most progressive passes and allowing his partners to deal with the progression and have the touches of the ball in deeper regions. And when he does receive the ball, he's happy to drive at the heart of the defense and create opportunities with slightly riskier passes that the rest of the fairly safe midfield are more hesitant to attempt. And Zielinski is also never shy to have a pop from range. But it is the wide regions that are key for Napoli, with Kvaratskhelia owning the left-hand side and down the right, Politano and Lozano having a lot more rotation. The flanks are so much more effective for Napoli as both Anguissa and Zielinski shift extremely wide to connect with their winger and fullback to form triangles and often overloads against the opposition, or even underlapping runs through the half space to disrupt the opposition shape. These interactions are particularly important down the right-hand side, with the attacking Di Lorenzo quick to join in. At times we do see Lozano or Politano tucking in, allowing the fullback even more room out wide, while trying to create a central overload. But these wide regions are made particularly threatening by the presence of Victor Osimhen, who is always lurking and threatening in the box, and the combination of his blindside movement and incredible leap means he is a genuine aerial threat. And he has scored more than twice as many headed goals as the next best in Serie A. Kvaratskhelia has been a revelation this season though, and one of his biggest threats is the fact that he is so unpredictable in so many different ways. If the fullback or Zielinski are outside of him, he's more than happy in more central regions, but he can just as easily hug the touchline for the entire match if needed. He can receive the ball deep to draw the opposition and make space for others, or stay high to pin the fullback. But his dribbling is made effective not just by his impeccable close control, because again, defenders don't know his end goal. Will it be to cut infield to have a shot, or float in across towards the back post to Osimhen, or will he attack the byline instead, where he's just as happy to cross the ball to Osimhen with his left foot? So if the fullbacks sit off, he can create and cross, but if they're too tight, firstly Zielinski can burst into the space, but more importantly, Kvaratskhelia can turn the defenders inside out to attack the box, where he's both a goal threat and a creative threat, with his partner in crime, Osimhen, in equal measures. The Kvaratskhelia to Osimhen combination has been the most fruitful in the league this season. This attacking force is supported by the likes of Raspadori, Simeone and Elmas off of the bench, who have all provided crucial performances when needed this season. But Napoli is not just about the attack. They have the meanest defense in Serie A, and this is led by the press, where they have the third most intense press in the league. This means both a counter press, looking to win the ball back as quickly as possible when they do lose it, and an actual press in more structured situations. Osimhen picks up one of the centre backs, and depending on which, either Anguissa, but more commonly Zielinski, will join to make it a 4-4-2, allowing them to pressure both of the centre backs, with a winger positioned to press the fullback and the rest of the side coming across. Lobotka again is the deepest man and tends to have the most defensive responsibility, and especially in situations where they're defending in a midfield three, he has to patrol behind Anguissa and Zielinski to provide some defensive cover. But the press is not perfect, and especially in that 4-4-2, they risk being outnumbered in the midfield at times, making them look vulnerable. The centre-backs both prefer to be passive, but when needed, Kim Min-jae can jump the lines to put in a proactive tackle, setting up the side for a perfect counter-attack, led by that incredible front line. Failing that, Napoli will drop into a more compact 4-3-3 shape. Napoli have essentially wrapped up Serie A already, meaning that they have the opportunity to make this incredible season even better by also dedicating some attention to the Champions League, where the draw has already opened up for them.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you might enjoy the content available on my Patreon. Not only does Patreon help to support the continued production of content, as I am a one-man team, but it also gives you early access to videos that will come on the channel. So head over to patreon.com/footballmadesimple to check it out. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.